So, as you see, I'm posting about death, but quite a different kind of death, thankfully. And as you see, the caveat, I'm not sure there's actually death to begin with, but that's for another time. Um, Never die alone. This is advice I truly offer to you if you're choosing to go down the path of trying to die to yourself, which is unbelievably painful and incredibly rewarding. And thankfully, I had a spiritual mentor who came into my life right at the beginning of me becoming aware that I just might not be the man I thought I was. And God's got a funny way of sending us exactly what we need when we need it if we're willing to see it. So I grabbed hold of him and started my journey of death. And thank God I had him because I wasn't his first case, and he had already been through it, and he was incredibly helpful. He helped me see the value in each stage of the death. And there are many stages, and I will speak of them. But this idea of having somebody who's walking with you, who's been there before, is huge. I mean, it's absolutely huge because it can get pretty dark down that path. And it did for me. It got real dark. And I didn't have to do it alone, thank God. And the other person I had was my good friend, Mr. Brandon Rogers. And I joke that I'm still not sure if it was his time to die because I'm just not sure it was. But like Brandon has done so many times in our friendship, he just said, I'm game. I'm walking this path with you. And it wasn't really like I called him and said, hey, do you want to die with me? It was me and him communicating throughout my journey of pain, of realizing I don't think I am who I thought I was. And in those deep discussions that he and I would have, he decided to join me in looking inward and trying to be brutally self-honest. And he got to experience his own pain, but thankfully it was not as deep as mine. And I think it was just right because he went through his own version, but he was able to be a rock for me as I went through it. And I will forever be grateful for both of them. But there are many characters in my story that I can't wait to share, and incredible learnings. There are some people who I've met, and one of them is in my story, and he's incredible, who did it alone, but they're unique. And if you look into their details of their makeup, which I alluded to in my first video, we have access to seeing the way we were made and what we came into this world with and to do. Certain people are more able to go through a death like this by themselves. And he did it on long walks over long periods of time, being very introspective and looking within, and started to uncover the truth. And this truth is pretty painful, but this truth is that we are much greater than we realize. And in the form we enter death in, we are operating at a pretty low frequency typically, and pretty damn blind to ourselves. And through this inner work, through really going there, and with me, I went there with God through my faith, and it modeled for me the kind of principles and kind of characteristics that I wanted to embody. And they were biblical, but it was super hard to obtain those characteristics because that ego, that self, wants to hang around and stay in control so badly. It takes an incredible amount of work and letting go to truly make this transformation. And I didn't reach some place that I am like some perfect human being right now. It's not like the death ends, unfortunately, at least not for me yet. But I at least went through enough where I can laugh at myself and I can look at life with a perspective that allows me to treat it more like what it really is, which is not such a serious game as we may take it. We can enjoy this while we go through suffering, and we can recognize that the way most of this life was designed here was to use suffering for our benefit. And so while I'm not done dying, the pain of dying is not as great as it once was. But there's a lot more death on the horizon to talk about and a lot of learnings that I can't wait to share with you.